November 4, 2010, Changi International Airport, Singapore. The Airbus A380-842 of Qantas Airline is preparing for departure after arriving from London and is en route to Sydney, Australia. On board the aircraft are 469 people, 440 passengers, and 29 crew members. The highly experienced crew preparing to pilot the aircraft includes Captain, 53-year-old Richard C. de Crispin, co-pilot, Matthew Hicks, relief pilot, Mark Johnson. Two aircraft commander instructors, Harry Wubben and David Evans, are also present on board. Additionally, there are 24 flight attendants working in the aircraft's cabins. After completing all procedures and control chart checks, at 0950 local time, the Airbus A380 took off from Changi Airport and set course for Sydney. During the climb, the crew felt strong vibrations, followed by a significant jolt. Something is not right. Vibration fire in the second left engine. Apply the fire extinguishing system.
Fuel leak.
Pan. Qantas 032, we have lost an engine, fuel leak, and hydraulic problems. Requesting an emergency landing at the departure airport.
Qantas 032, understood, proceed with the landing approach pattern.
The second left engine of the A380 exploded. Fragments penetrated part of the wing, damaging the fuel system, resulting in a fuel leak and ignition. Additionally, one hydraulic system was damaged, causing difficulties in controlling the flaps on the left wing and engine number 1. The damages were significant but not critical, and the crew understood that they could still manage the aircraft. The pilots decided to circle in the holding pattern over Singapore's airport to assess the damages and conduct landing calculations. The initial assessment of all damages took approximately 50 minutes. Subsequently, the second pilot and one of the instructors inputted the damage data into the CDU, or, in simple terms, the onboard computer, to calculate if the length of Changi Airport's runway would be sufficient, considering the damages and the aircraft's weight exceeding the maximum landing weight by 50 tons due to full fuel tanks. After completing all calculations, the crew determined that the runway length should be sufficient, and according to the calculations, the aircraft should come to a stop approximately 100 meters before the end of the runway. The crew deployed the landing gear, which secured in the extended position due to gravity and headwind, and the aircraft began its descent. The landing was conducted at a speed exceeding the normal landing speed by 65 km/h. At 11:45, the A380 safely touched down at Changi Airport. As a result of the landing, 4 tires on the landing gear burst. The pilots applied maximum brakes, and the aircraft was able to come to a stop within the runway limits. There was a fuel leak in the left wing, and fuel was dripping near the very hot landing gear. Additionally, the pilots were unable to shut down engine number 1, requiring emergency crews to spray it with a hose to facilitate shutdown. Initially, the pilots considered evacuating the passengers immediately after landing, but later decided it was safer to remain inside the aircraft until the emergency crews completed their tasks. Flight attendants were prepared to open emergency doors at any moment, but it proved unnecessary. After the threat of ignition was eliminated, the aircraft was towed to the apron and passengers disembarked using a regular boarding ramp. Fortunately, none of the 469 individuals on board were injured during the incident. Later, it was revealed that engine debris fell on Batam Island, damaging several houses, a school, and a car. Fortunately, there were no casualties on the ground as well. As later stated by the flight crew standards instructor David Evans, we were in a situation where we had fuel, hot brakes, and an engine that we couldn't shut down. Indeed, the safest place was inside the aircraft until everything changed. So, our cabin crew was on standby all the time, ready to start an evacuation, open doors, deploy inflatable slides at any moment. Over time, the threat diminished, and fortunately, we managed to calmly and methodically evacuate all passengers using a single staircase. Immediately after the incident, shares of the engine manufacturer Rolls-Royce Holdings fell by 5.5% on the London Stock Exchange, marking the sharpest decline in 18 months, and directly linked to this incident. The shares of Airbus also experienced a decrease. Airlines Qantas and Singapore Airlines, both using the same Rolls-Royce engines on their A380 aircraft, temporarily suspended all A380 flights after the incident and conducted further inspections. Investigation of all 4 operational A380 aircraft of Qantas revealed issues with 2 engines. These engines were scheduled for a complete replacement. Problems with one of these engines potentially could have led to a recurrence of the incident. On November 8, 2010, Qantas CEO Alan Joyce announced that the entire A380 fleet would be grounded due to new engine problems, including oil leaks, which, according to him, were beyond acceptable limits of defects. Singapore Airlines, initially stating that they had not found any problems, announced plans to replace 3 engines on 3 of its A380 aircraft after inspecting their engines. Tom Ballantyne, the author of Orient Aviation magazine, described the incident as undoubtedly the most serious incident that has occurred with the A380 since its introduction into service, expressing concerns that this event could be related to a serious issue rather than just technical glitches. Qantas CEO Alan Joyce stated that the airline considered faulty material or a design issue as the likely cause of the incident. The investigation conducted by the Australian Transport Safety Bureau, ATSB, revealed that fatigue cracking of a pipe inside the engine led to an oil leak, subsequently resulting in an oil fire in the engine. The fire caused the failure of the intermediate pressure turbine disc. The report also noted that the issue was characteristic of the Trent 900 engine. Rolls-Royce, the manufacturer of the engines, determined that the direct cause of the oil ignition and subsequent engine failure was the misalignment of a counterboard oil feed pipe hole, leading to fatigue failure. Conclusions were recognized as a critical safety issue, and the Investigation Bureau recommended an immediate inspection of the operational Trent 900 engines. Ultimately, 53 Trent 900 engines were taken out of service, 11 due to mismatches in the oil feed pipes, and 42 due to the lack of measurement protocols related to the oil feed pipe. On June 22, 2011, Qantas announced that it had agreed to a compensation of AUD 95 million from Rolls-Royce. The repair, in turn, was estimated at AUD 139 million. The Airbus A380-842 involved in the incident was repaired and returned to service. The aircraft continues to fly and is still in operation with Qantas.